And you see the status of Pilgrim and Row, but you'll notice that the third driver, Ed Zabinski, has not finished. He's a DNF for this race.
So approaching Glen Cove, this is Andy Pilgrim, and already you can see Andy much slower in that street stock version than Shawn Hendrick at 6:03.3. But as we pointed out, all he wants to do is score points because he wants to stay in the Drivers' Championship battle. Now we're on board with Shane Lewis as he pulls to the starting line, and he is carrying our onboard camera system. Shane, 29 years old, from Jupiter, Florida, and he is in a Mustang, normally in a Corvette.
Normally he's in a Corvette, so not only is he learning the mountain, but he's also learning a different car. As you see Shane work his way up through there, you can already see him working the wheel here. Shane has struggled in qualifying and practice, as have most of these drivers, but you can see he's really going hard here, and Shane's going to give it his best shot.
This is primarily, again, a street stock version of the Ford Mustang, and on board we're saying, whoa, let's just sit back and ride.
And you can really see Shane Lewis really working the wheel there. And you'll notice that even though there are straightaways on this mountain, the car is very rarely straight ahead. You see him working the wheel left and right there as he's going up the mountain. Very little time for rest as you head up the hill.
Shane Lewis, who his best finish this year is 4th back at Lime Rock on the pavement. Into Engineer's Corner. Whoa, he's really a little bit wide there.
He really hung it out there, but you have to do that sometimes. Here's another progress report. You have Andy Pilgrim almost done at Devil's Playground, Shawn Row at Glen Cove, and the Shane Lewis we just saw down just below the ski area.
So let's check in with Andy Pilgrim, who moved to the United States back in 1984. He actually was born and raised in Nottingham, England, and he is on his way to a finish, and that's all he wanted to do today, just keep him in the championship points. As you saw, he's 6th coming into this action, and he's had the benefit of at least having the sunshine out for his entire run, which has been rare all week long.
It sure has. We've talked about the changing track conditions, and what's one thing the drivers are thinking is you're heading into a corner, you're wondering if it feels like the last corner you went to. There's always this a little bit of uncertainty in your head as you head up the mountain.
Well, as you can see by the clock, that Andy Pilgrim is not going to take over the top spot. And while he takes the checkered flag, Bart has caught up with Shawn Hendrick.
Shawn, you have the honor of being the very first Bridgestone Supercar competitor ever to make it to the top of Pikes Peak. This is a little different than, say, Road Atlanta or Laguna Seca, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a great place. So the more we stayed out here, the better it got. And I wish the weather could have been a little better today, but this is a great place to come to, and I sure hope we're able to come back again next year.
How did your run go for you? How was the track?
Track was slick. If you got out of the groove, you could really get into the rubble there. It slowed us down a bit, but it was faster in places also, so hopefully it was a good one.
So Shawn Hendrick is still the man to beat, and here is Shawn Row making his way to the top of the W's. And listen to this Corvette labor in this thin air.
Yeah, once you get to the top here, the air is a lot thinner. It's tougher for the engine to get the air it needs. The engine tends to run a lot richer, is what we call too much fuel, not enough air. You see Shawn sliding around the corner, and he really lacks the horsepower that you would normally expect from a Corvette. But we're talking, 12 or 13,000 feet here.
Well, take my word for it. At 13,000 feet, just walking leaves you short of breath. Just imagine what it's like to try and make a race car perform. Well, Shawn Hendrick's time is going to hold up easily as Shawn Row comes across the finish line. And now we'll move down to the base of the mountain with Peter Farrell from Manassas, Virginia, at age 36 in the Mazda RX-7 twin turbo. He has a definite shot.
And Marty, I'll tell you, there's 2 reasons why I think he has a good shot. 1, he's driving a car that is very fast and very proven. And 2, Peter Farrell is a very experienced driver. He's driven rallies, he's driven pavement, a lot of different cars. He is well suited, and we'll see how well suited he is when we come back right after this.
Marty Reed, Bart Kendall back with you at the Bridgestone Supercar Series round number 4. That's David Daugherty as he is getting ready to go in his Nissan 300ZX. He is 29 years old from Carmel, Indiana. It's just outside of Indianapolis. And whoa, getting a little bit sideways.
And as a lot of drivers are that come out of Indianapolis, David does have some sprint car experience racing on the dirt. He was our 4th fastest qualifier, so he is set up pretty well for a good assault up on the mountain.
Take a look now. Shane Lewis is approaching Glen Cove. Peter Farrell at the halfway picnic grounds, and Daugherty just off the starting line. So we check in with Shane Lewis. The time to beat will be on the left. That is Shawn Hendrick. And again, remember, this is basically a street stock version, and well off the pace is Shane Lewis as he is at 6:15.
We've seen a couple guys come here with splits that aren't even close to Shawn Hendricks, and I think it's more a matter of Shawn Hendrick putting on an incredible time than anyone else doing poorly.
That's Peter Farrell's top end speed at 85 miles an hour in the Mazda. That is pretty doggone good. Pick up action now with Shane Lewis. Let's just sit back and ride along. Come on, baby, come on. Come on, come on. Shane.
I've done that before. It's never done me any good, but Shane really encouraging his car to come on. I think that's a combination of the altitude, that his car is not as quick as he's used to.
Back from the outside, this is what it looks like as he makes it up the mountain. And again, starving for air. This big V8 Ford Mustang, just not used to running at this higher altitude. He makes it around the next to last corner. Let's listen again. He almost went off the edge.
Shane better keep both hands on the wheel there.
One turn to the finish line. He just wanted to make it to the finish. So obviously he's not going to take over the lead. What kind of reaction will we get? Anybody who finishes has a good job. Congratulations. Thanks for taking us along, Shane. Elliot Forbes Robinson back at the starting line, 51 from Denver, North Carolina. He's in another of the Nissan 300ZX turbos.
And here's another guy with a lot of experience. EFR, as we like to call him, has raced in GTP, Trans Am, Firehawk, you name it. But I talked to him earlier, and he said he's never, ever seen anything like Pikes Peak.
The first day, it was so foggy. These guys couldn't tell which way the cliff dropped off and which way turned them into the mountain. And Elliot said, it's probably a good thing. We would have been afraid of where we were going to fall. Let's take a look and show you that Peter Farrell's now approaching Glen Cove, Doherty in the ski area, and Elliot Forbes Robinson in the lower portion of the course. Now this is Peter Farrell, and whoa, I would have thought he would have been much closer to Shawn Hendrick's time, Bart.
Well, we've seen a lot of guys come through here. No one has even come close to Shawn's time, which leads me to believe that Shawn really had a pretty fantastic run.
Elliot Forbes Robinson, 90 miles an hour. He is flying through the halfway picnic grounds.
Yeah, Elliot said that this track is a matter of gradually building up confidence as you get up near the top.
Back to Glen Cove. Here comes David Doherty. And again, boy, Shawn Hendricks in that four-wheel drive stealth is just crushing the competition here at Pikes Peak.
Yeah, right now it looks like it's almost a battle for second place. We've had a lot of guys bunched up in second, but Shawn Hendricks has certainly distanced himself from the field, at least up until now.
And back to Peter Farrell. That best finish he's had so far was third at Long Beach.
You know, Peter, I think if he just gets to the top of the mountain, he's going to be real pleased. I know he wants to win, but let me tell you a little bit about the weekend he's had. A couple days ago when we had all that rain and snow and wind, the wind came in and blew his canopy over. He literally had, he and his three crew guys were holding up the canopy so it wouldn't collapse on his race cars. They had to do that for over an hour. That is a superhuman effort right there.
And then they had to make a motor change on top of it. So here he comes, the time to beat. He's not going to do it. And look at the domination by Shawn Hendricks as another victim falls to Hendricks 934.5. Wow, what a performance by Hendricks. We just didn't know what we had seen that first run up the mountain. Stay with us, more of the Bridgestone Supercar Series from Pikes Peak. Marty Reed and Bart Kendall back with you at Pikes Peak, and look at the clouds starting to roll in to the top of the mountain. At the base of the mountain, we're getting ready for Randy Pobst, the last man off the starting line, the second fastest qualifier, 37 years old from Melbourne, Florida, and he is in one of the BMWs.
Yeah, Randy was very intrigued with this place when he first came here. He's a veteran of a lot of road racing, and believe it or not, he got his start in autocross, where you're actually racing for time around cones, which coincidentally is pretty similar to what he's doing today. Obviously, the stakes are a little higher, the speed's a little greater, but you're essentially